Hi and welcome. This is the first in a series of videos that I will be doing about making a WordPress website. My idea is to show the entire process, starting from choosing and registering your domain name for your website like BikeGremlin.com to choosing a good hosting provider, installing WordPress, configuring your email, and also I will be explaining how to configure Cloudflare service. I will also explain what it is. And this first video is about choosing a domain name, finding a free domain name and registering it. This series of videos is sponsored by several companies, and it's practically those are the companies whose services I chose to use, that I'm using and paying for, and I just contacted all of them and said what I'm planning to do, and told them that I will be using their services anyway, and I cannot promote something that I'm not using. It makes no sense, but if they wish to support and sponsor the video, that's great. If not, well, that's life. So I will put links to all the articles on my website that are related to this video, like they explain some things in even more detail, and they are like a quick reference. It's easier to read than to listen to a talking monkey for a long time. And I will also put links to these companies' websites. The first one is Porkbun.com. It's Porkbun company, a United States company that specializes in domain registration. So it's a company where I register my domains, where I renew domain registration, and for me it is important for my domain to be securely registered, to not have any problems, because everything that you build online is based on your domain, and that was you should pay attention when choosing a domain register to make sure that it's a reliable, reputable company. That's one thing that one problem out of the way when you have that sorted out properly. The next thing is hosting, and my hosting provider of choice is HostMantis. Their website is HostMantis.com. They have been in the business for over 10 years. I know this sounds like an advertisement, but after all the providers I've been with, tested everything, this provider has offered the most stable service in terms of my website not going offline every now and then, and they have offered the best performance at a price that is not higher than that of the other providers who offer at least close to that quality of service. So until then that changes, this is what the company that I'm using hosting with. So I want to thank both companies for supporting these videos. And now to get on to this video's topic, it's domain registration. I wrote an article about, when you want to make any kind of online presence, I will be talking and using the terms for businesses, but it also goes for individuals like artists or whatever, or even if you want to just make a blog and start writing your thoughts online and publishing them. The Latins have a saying, nomen est omen, and the name is your destiny, and it has a sort of poetically philosophical note to it, but it makes sense. It's important to pick your domain wisely, domain name, because it relates to your brand. So I will explain that. Here is an article on my website on the section websites, then SEO, and here is the article how to make a good website. There, in chapter 3, I explained in a bit more detail about domain name and branding, and so I will bore you with in a few minutes about that, and then we'll get on. When you want to make an online presence, you should pick a name for your brand that sounds good, is easy to pronounce. If you wish to target audience that is not from your country, it should be such that it is easily pronounced even by people who don't speak the language, so For example, my name is very difficult to pronounce to any foreigner, so if I had named my domain Relja Novovic, nobody would know how to type it or anything if they hear it. Even BikeGremlin is not the smartest choice, but I could have done a lot worse. So that's the one thing to consider. And then another thing to consider is to make sure that for the name of your brand that you chose, there is a free .com domain. Why I think that is important? This is my opinion based on my experience. So there are different opinions, but if I chose for my domain apple.rs, that is for my country local domain. There is a hugely popular, successful company called Apple, and they could decide to sue me for taking something that is their brand, and that puts a lot of complication and hassle needlessly. So for that reason, if I wish to make a website and go online, and I chose to name my company Apple, locally register it, I would have to pick some other domain name that has no relation to that, and even then I could have problems when it's a huge company that has presence in many countries. So try to think of something unique and something that is related and associates to what you do or what you wish to your brand to present. And I will also use the example of Apple for that. Apple has nothing to do with computers, and they have done great job in terms of marketing. Sorry, but I think it's easier to make things easier for you from the start. When you're super big, it doesn't matter, but when you're starting, I wouldn't start a computer company called Buy a Fruit. I may be wrong, I'm not a marketing wizard, these are just my thoughts, take it for what it is, like to the best of my knowledge. And now, how to find your brand and domain name. Those things are interlaced, and there's also another complication because there are many online social networks, and for many businesses they are important. For example, Instagram.com comes to mind. And so when you're trying to pick a domain and your brand name, you should make sure that .com is available and that on the social media where you plan to promote yourself, that is free. For example, Instagram.com/BikeGremlin was available, so I registered that account, even though I don't really use Instagram a lot for my type of content. Website and YouTube are where I'm most comfortable with, but I wanted to make sure, just in case, to not have any complications later on if I decide to have Instagram and to only find out that someone had registered by Gremlin. It would be less convenient for people to find my Instagram account. And so I hope I explained this properly. And now, how to find the free, I would start by looking for a free .com domain and then looking on, and I have an article on that. Let's see, WordPress workshop, there it is. I should replace these images, they are generic mostly. And here it is, domain registration and name service. When you go to this article, so it's in WordPress workshop, and then making a WordPress workshop second article. In chapter 3, I explained how to safely search for a domain name, and here is a link to a service that you can use for Windows computers. To do this, I also explained why I'm doing it this way, to avoid having a domain I like snatched from under my nose right before I register it. And this is how to install a Linux client for being able to do what I'm about to show you. But here I open this in new tab, this link, and here I can download the latest stable version for Windows, install it as you install any other Windows program, and then you can follow these instructions that I will show now. You need to open a command prompt, and here I have already used this command a few times to find some available domain names, and the command is whois. And now if I type BikeGremlin.com, here it shows that it is registered with Porkbun domain registrar and so on, my name, servers, but if I want to start a new brand, I need to think of a cool name and register it. For these videos, for examples, I will not be registering any cool domain names because I don't want to take them if somebody else wants to take them for their brand. That is called domain name squatting. It is a despicable practice. It boils down to registering cool domain names, and then when someone needs that domain name for their business, you sell it to them at a very, very high price and make a profit. And I think it's not a very nice way of making money, and I despise that practice. So I will choose for this example a domain name that is complete nonsense, and I hope nobody will miss that domain name. So let's try to find a free domain name that is nonsense. I use BG, like BikeGremlin, and say BG our website, our site. Okay, that will be our domain for this tutorial, bgrsite.com. Okay, looks good, bgrsite.com. And this one is free, no match. Okay, so we will register our site, bgrsite.com. That will be our domain for this series of tutorial videos. But I also want to make and register what I call a working domain. I will explain in later videos what that is used for. Basically, I use it to FTP connections, to manage my website and several other websites if I have more, and it's a good idea. It allows me to have more convenience and a bit more security through obscurity. We'll get to that later, but it makes things simpler, safer, and even faster. But you have to have one working domain. And so we'll call it bgwork.com. Let's see if that is free. Oh no, this one is registered. Okay. bgworkingdomain.com. Let's see about that one. Okay, that one is free. So we have bgrsite.com and bgworkingdomain.com. Let's go to Porkbun and register those two domain names. All right, here we are, bgrsite.com. Let's see, hit enter, and okay, it's free. It's not taken, I can register it, so I will click here. All right, and I can go to checkout. But first I will also pick the other domain that we chose, bgworkingdomain.com. bgworkingdomain.com. Let's see about that one. Okay, it's free officially. Okay, we're putting it in the cart and going to checkout. I want to register both for 1 year. I will be releasing them after I'm finished with making these tutorial videos. I won't be using any discount coupons. I don't know of any, don't have any at the moment, and I wish to continue. And that will also take me to the screen for creating my account, because I'm starting this with showing it how it would look if you started from scratch. Okay, so let's get on. Log into an existing account, create a new. All right, we'll create a new account, and for username I have created an email BikeGremlin tutorial, and I will be using that as a username here. So let's give it a try. Okay, and I need to generate a password. This part about securely saving passwords is explained in my video that I will link now. It should pop up somewhere in the corner, top left, top right corner, and there I explained what I'm doing here. Here I'll just be showing it, but if you I suggest you watch that video, how to securely store passwords, how to create safe passwords, and so on. But now here I want to create a new directory in this password password keeping software. And I will create a new group, and I will call it domain registrars, or just Porkbun. Okay, domain registrars, here it is, and here I will create a new entry, right clicking, new entry, Porkbun tutorial account. Okay, and the username is what we used here, BikeGremlin tutorial. And password, I want to generate a strong password, so I'll click on the password generator. I want it to be 30 letters long. I want it to include all the special characters and everything. Regenerate. Okay, this looks good. I will just Control A, Control C to copy it, paste it here, and so we have our username and password, and that's it. I can now click OK to close this, check if it's been stored. Here it is. Alright, I will save the file just in case, and I will try to paste the password here. For the email, I created this email for tutorial videos, bikegremlin.tutorial@gmail.com, and I hope nobody will miss this email being taken. And I will enter my information. I will enter here my address, all the other important details, and I have to prove that I'm not a robot. I don't know why they always discriminate. And I will get to enter my credit card details. So let's get it on. Okay, do I want to get promotional emails? I generally don't like promotional emails. I'm not much of a salesman or a buyer, unfortunately. And let's see if this is all good. Username must consist of only alphanumerical characters. State is a required field. All right. I'll make username be BikeGremlin tutorial. And I want password, copy pasted. Let's try again. Okay, now I need to enter my Visa card details and pay for this. Right now, my bank has a protection that asks me to confirm these things from my phone, so that's what I will have to do to create a short token password, one-time use password, and I will type it here. Okay, let's see if we did this right. All right. All right. Well, this is a unfortunate event. It often happens that companies who offer products online have different kinds of anti-fraud protections. In this case, I already have an account with this credit card, and so they are not allowing me to make another account with the same credit card. I'm even amazed that using my same name did not trigger some automated protection system. So I will have to use another card and try again and see if it goes. I'll try to add credit card manually. Okay, I managed to add my card manually after having created an account, and now I can go and finally make this payment using this card that is now on here. All right, continue to billing, continue with credit card. Okay, let's see what happens now. Okay, it seems to have gone through. We are processing your order, prepared to be awestruck. Okay, a bit of a sense of humor, that's nice. Okay, here we are. We have our two domains, bgrsite.com, that we'll be using in this tutorial series, and bgworkingdomain.com. Alright, so now what I want to do is to secure my account using a two-factor authentication. There is an article on my website that explains that in detail. I will put a link to it in this video's description. I think it's Net Technologies, Security and Privacy, and two-factor authentication. Here it is. Explains everything in detail. I won't be going into details too much, but I have installed on my phone and on my computer an application called Authy, and it allows me to have all the functionalities of Google Authenticator and to allow myself to use two-factor authentication. That is, if anyone were to use my password to figure it out, no matter how, in which way, they would still need to have access to my Authy application and to enter that code. That makes breaching an account exponentially more difficult. It's also a hassle whenever you're logging in, you have to use that authentication code after you've used your password. But for things like domain names and your hosting server account, as we will show later, I think it's worth it. So let's go here. These are my domains. I can try to clicking on details, and automatic renew is on. Domain is protected from being taken by anyone else. When you wish to transfer a domain, you should unlock this, but that's a topic for a separate video. And here is the basic info. The whois information will not disclose my information. It's enabled. Click on this renew. I can disable, and I can add the renewal price to the cart to pay for another year on top of what I've already registered domain to. Okay, for now it's 1 year until 2023, and so, but let's secure our account. I'm clicking here, account settings, and here it is, two-factor authentication. I wish to turn it on. Before continuing, please make sure that your phone number, email address, and mailing physical address under account details are true and correct. Okay, that's a good idea to double check. I need to verify my phone number and to verify my email. Let's do that. I'll get an SMS message, probably. And I got the code to enter here. Okay, I think it's correct. All right, verified my phone number. Now verify my email. Let's see, send verification. Okay, they sent it already. Let's check out the email. Here is order confirmation, okay. And email address verification. I can click on this, but I've opened this in another browser, so I'll right click here or just copy this code. Right click, copy link, and go to the browser where I'm doing this and say paste. Enter. Verification code. This is the verification code that I got in my email. Here it is. I acknowledge that I read and agree. Okay, terms of use and privacy policy and everything. Read it carefully, take notes. Submit. Email address verified, thank you. Okay, now let's see my account information. Okay, I've registered my email and verified my account. That's good. And now I've also got information here after having paid account verification. They did not send me the password. I should know that, which password it is. Okay. Now let's go back here and now let's configure two-factor authentication. On. Okay, I have double checked, confirmed them. All right. Now I need authentication verification code shown on my authentication client. And let's see, I'm opening Authy on my phone. I'll close this now. I need to see the code and key. All right. Now it's better. And now I can choose Authy, click settings, and go to accounts and click on a plus that will allow me open this kind of window, so I can click on this and scan this code. Okay, now I get to name this. There's Porkbun icon and the account is BikeGremlin tutorial. Okay, we'll save that. Okay, now let's give this a test. I will turn it off. Entering the code from my application, and okay, it works, it's enabled. I should have first scanned that QR code, then clicked to turn it on, because in case if that hadn't worked, I would have probably been locked out of my account and would have had to contact support. So I did this, made a mistake in this very video. And these are the backup codes in case something goes wrong with authentication software. I can always use them, so I copy these and put them in my password manager. Okay, here they are, and that's it. Now my account is secured with two-factor authentication, and we can now double check that by logging out. Okay, and now in order to log in I need username and password, and password is in my password manager. Okay, and now we need two-factor authentication, most probably. I made a mistake. Let's try again. Okay, this does not look good. I don't know what the problem is. We will see. And I must have mistyped something. Okay, send email verification. Let's see what happened. Okay, now let's try the two-factor code. 831034. Okay, it's good that I made so many mistakes, so I can show how to fix it in case it happens. Okay, now I can log in. All right, new password. Okay, let's try a new password. Let's generate a new password. Sometimes when you use characters that are not processed by the service, or the password is too long, you can run into problems. So I will try to make the password a bit less long, 25 characters. They should be able to handle that, and until I figure out what the problem is. So this is the new password, and let's try to paste it here and say okay. All right. Okay, let's try now to log out and to confirm that this works. Username and password. Let's try. Okay, now I get to enter two-factor authentication. Okay, now you've seen how to register an account, register domains, and how to solve problems in case you get locked out of your account. In my previous video about security, I explained why it is important to do the same for the email, because as you could see in this video, I had to rely on my email to get a password reset code. Otherwise I wouldn't have been able to use my account, and I would probably have to contact the support via email. Then it would take a very long time for them to confirm that it is really me, that it's not someone trying to present themselves as me and take my account and domain. So those are very tricky things. So that is why it's important to have a secure email, and this email has also tutorial by Gremlin at gmail.com, has two-factor authentication security configured for it, and domain registration and email are probably the two most important things when it comes to this stuff, and you should make sure they are with a good password, strong password, and that they are secured. And after I finish recording this video, until I finish all the series, I will have to change my password that I have shown in this video. So I will have to go to the account settings. Here it is. I will click on this and I will enter a new password, and I will not be showing that in the video until I finish the whole series and close the account and release the domains or whatever. But I hope I've explained this first part properly, and then in the next video we will talk about buying and renting a hosting account. We'll be using reseller hosting, and we'll get on with it. But while we're at Porkbun, I want to show just one more thing. Let's go here. Domain management. If you want to get your website up and running within minutes, you can just click here and get Porkbun Managed WordPress Hosting. There is an article on my website here, reviews, hosting reviews, Porkbun easy WordPress hosting. It really is as simple as that. You just click here and your website can be up and running in no time, and it has its pros because it is so simple, but I prefer having more control and being able to do several other things that are not as easily done when using managed WordPress hosting. So this series of videos will continue with showing how that is done. I'll be using Cloudflare, setting up email so that you have a reliable domain email, and so you can use transactional emails when you send and receive them to be sure that it all works properly. Those are the things that I've noticed people having a lot of problem with, so that's what I want to show. But this is like a shortcut to at least getting your website up and running. So it is an option, it works, I've tried it, it's not bad. It's not bad for novices or people who are too busy, or for whom even this video is too long and tedious and don't want to hear and watch anymore, it's an option. But generally this is my choice, and for me, I think this is, for me at least, a better option. So I will be showing that in the video about hosting, but I think it's only fair to note this because it has its pros, and there are people who will be happy with this, and it's a simple way to start and get up and running, and everything is in one place, which has both its pros and cons. But I consider Porkbun to be generally a reliable, trustworthy company, so I would dare to have both my hosting account and domain registration, which I otherwise don't recommend to have at the same company. I would dare to do that here. And I think that's it for this video, and in next video we will be using my favorite hosting provider to set up our hosting account and to try and get our website up and running. And I will also be using MXRoot email provider to show how a website emails are configured and how all that works. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. Cheers. If you like this video, you can click on subscribe and choose this bell option, select all, so you get notified whenever I upload a new video.